Hi guys, this is Neha from Pam Golding Commercial, and I'm here with Hannah, who's representing Nairobi Garage, and we just want to have a quick Q&A on the current status of co-working spaces in Nairobi and what the future looks like, and what Hannah is doing at Nairobi Garage to sort of make it a safe space for people to come and use. Hannah, can you tell us a little bit about Nairobi Garage, the brand and your locations and what you guys do?
Yep, totally, yeah. So we're a co-working space. We've been around since about 2012. We have 4 locations now across Nairobi. Our first location, which was on Gong Road, quite near to Yaya Center. Our second location that we opened, which is on Wayaki Way in the Mirage building. Our third location, we opened in Karen at the Watermark Business Park, and our fourth location, which is where we are right now, which is our most recent one, in the Promenade on General Muthenge. And so just to give you kind of an idea of what we do, we're kind of like a traditional co-working space in the sense of it's kind of a blend of open plan desk space where you can kind of pay per desk per month as you go. Also drop in like day passes where you can kind of just drop in for one day here and there, meeting rooms, event space, and private offices where for companies that are kind of looking for a little bit more privacy, can sign a longer term contract for a essentially serviced office space.
And it's all, you can customize the spaces, right, for these private offices?
Yeah. So,
right.
I mean, we normally when we open a space, we have kind of a design and a layout where we kind of know where it makes the most sense for the offices to go, but a company can also kind of come and say like, you know, I like these 3 offices together, or, I like this, view. Can we kind of look at how we can redraw some of the partitioning? And I mean, we're super flexible. It's kind of like the point of our business. So we try to be as flexible as possible so someone can also come and say, I want to have my front office in this location, I want to have my back office team in this other location, and then I want my sales team to kind of be wandering around the 4 locations to drop in and use the meeting rooms as and when. So it's really like as flexible as possible. Okay.
And how has COVID sort of affected co-working spaces in general? And what's your viewpoint on the current scenario that we're going through with COVID? What kind of measures are you guys taking in place to ensure that it's still safe for clients to come and use the space here at Nairobi Garage?
Yeah, so I think kind of generally speaking, I think in Kenya we're kind of following the rest of the world in terms of their response to this and the reaction that's happening. I think obviously, where there have been orders for people to stay at home, no one can come to the office, right? So I think co-working has been one of the industries that has, I don't want to say hit the most because I think everybody's kind of been hit equally, but I think by virtue of the fact that we operate on a flexible model, when people don't need the office, that's kind of like the point, right? That like you pay for what you need when you need it.
Right.
And kind of nothing
Which
more,
is actually amazing because then you don't, if you're not in Nairobi, our leases are 5 years, 3 months, so you're not locked into that lease and you have that flexibility.
Exactly.
Okay, and so what kind of measures are you guys now implementing right now at Nairobi Garage to ensure the safety of your employees and the safety of your clients?
Yeah. So one of the first things that we kind of were concerned about, I guess, is just like our team, like coming to the office safely and being able to work safely. So all of our staff take taxis to and from the office so that they don't have to take public transport.
Okay.
We have temperature like
guns, I know,
exactly, for everybody who like comes into the office. So obviously same within kind of malls and things like that. If you have a temperature, but then we ask you not to come. Obviously communicating to everybody if you don't feel well, if you have any symptoms, don't come to the office. And we're sanitizing like throughout the spaces, like every 2 hours we just come and like sanitize like all the desks, all the handles, like all of the kind of public spaces, just to kind of make people, and then obviously like the government has instituted that you should wear face masks and things like that. So we're just making sure that those kind of things that the government has suggested to do that we implement. And just kind of being in touch regularly with our members, checking on them, making sure that like no one's coming to the space if they don't feel well or if they don't feel safe, kind of thing. And just communicating really like as much as possible to be like, this is what we're doing. If you need to come, these are the measures that we're taking. Another thing that we're kind of exploring right now that we had spoken about a little bit earlier was, one of the things that some of our members are struggling with is they have a lot of work to do and they can't necessarily work at home, but they also have kids. So we're kind of exploring like, what would it look like to offer kind of people like a family package so that they can actually come like with their husband for them both to get work done, for example, or with one of their kids who's maybe studying for an exam. That they're kind of like, I really want to get work done, but I also want to know that like he or she is also doing their work.
And I think that's an amazing option. I know I would come in with my 5-year-old and sit and use a desk for a couple of hours and so just to give a different sort of environment and boost the productivity for both of us. So we're not actually working from home, and it's because it's becoming a little bit mundane and a little bit tiring to work from home every single day.
Totally,
okay, that's really exciting. And I think going forward, I know personally I have a very optimistic view about co-working spaces in Nairobi, and I think this flexibility of using the space and paying for the space when and how you need it is a great option. So you're not locked into this 5-year, 3-month lease, but also I think that in general, because of what kind of experience that a lot of businesses have gone through, I think this is an easier option for any sort of new startup, new businesses to come in and say, look, I don't need to invest in a 5-year, 3-month lease, but at least this is a really good option for now. And it kind of future-proofs the business, because then if another situation like this arises, you can sort of just back up immediately, and you don't have to go through the whole process of negotiating the lease again with your landlord, right?
Because I think as much as the market is going to change in terms of lease rentals are going to come down because of this situation, it doesn't really do away with the fact that your fit out costs and your long-term commitments are still going to be there. Those things are not going to change. You're still going to have to pay those like huge costs and kind of like suffer from that like complete inflexibility of a lease. So I do think that as much as we're affected right now, I do think it's going to be one of those industries that bounces back, even more. Everybody's talking about the future of work and like, people are going to want a lot more flexibility and so on and so forth. And that's what we were already doing. So I kind of don't... And
I think even businesses that don't want to invest, they still need a place for their employees to go to. So even if you adopt this sort of new working lifestyle of working from home, you still have to have a place to go to, right? So I think this is such a good option because it just provides people a place to come to just to work from, and not necessarily a full-on office that you need to then invest in.
Yeah, completely. And I mean, I think that what this period has showed also is that working from home is an option, and it is perhaps more of an option than a lot of companies have considered, but I think it's also not perfect in and of itself. It's, there's constant problems with electricity, constant problems with internet, working from home isn't really suitable as like a day-to-day thing. Same as working, from Java. It's just like, it's nice once in a while, but working every day,
it's not sustainable.
It's not designed as a workplace, it's designed as a home. So as much as you're gonna want to adopt flexible working strategies, putting people working from home is not a perfect solution kind of thing. It's like what we're doing right now because we have to, but but going forward, if you're serious about having a flexible working strategy, it can't be that you're just going to send everyone to work from home. Like that's not...
It's not feasible, Okay, I think that wraps it up. Do you have anything else you want to add?
I think just kind of touching on, looking further past this particular period as well. I think the response to this period when it's going to be over is that people are going to start looking for flexible work options in terms of just the utility of needing somewhere to work and not having the money to put down a huge deposit or sign a 5-year lease. But I also think that beyond that as well, I think what people are realizing being isolated as well is like how much you depend on those like connections, those business connections. And I think especially if we're going into a period where it's going to be, financially unstable, what will happen is obviously like people don't have access to a lot of money. There's not a lot of like excess cash. It makes business transactions that much harder. It makes trust-based transactions like that much more important.
Exactly.
And I think the consequence of that long term is going to be that the kind of the other element, which is what we offer, which perhaps people aren't really thinking about right now, which is the community and the business networks and the connections that you make by being around like-minded people that you kind of trust based on the fact that you you know, it kind of like becomes your community, your business
Exactly,
community. That's
exactly.
Like, okay, we know that person because they work at Nairobi Garage in Karen, or we know that person because we saw them at that event at Nairobi
Right,
Garage
and
in Kilimani.
I think one of the things that people will be dying to get back to after this pandemic is over is the whole community aspect of life, and being part of a community and belonging to community. So I think it's amazing. You guys have already created a community at Nairobi Garage, and I love the space and the design that you guys have done. So guys, get in touch if you want to come and check out Nairobi Garage at the Promenade. It's a brand spanking new brand space, and they've got it's very, very spacious as well. So get in touch with us if you guys have any questions or queries, and thanks for listening.